Welcome everyone to day 3 of the Mindfulness for Educators mini-series. Shylla Webb here, education consultant, and I also have Ryan Lockee here with us tonight. Ryan Lockee is a teacher who taught abroad and taught in San Francisco, California for a few years. He also wrote the book Wisdom Beyond the Classroom. So this is a book about social emotional learning and growth mindset, specifically designed for middle school and high school age students. If you were with us on day 1, what we talked about was just cultivating awareness, and we had a mindfulness practice based on that. Day 2, yesterday evening, we went through an activity of a body scan, and this was and it was about, the lesson was on emotions and interrupting those emotions, and remember, the emotions flow through us. Ryan today is going to share his words of wisdom and also guide us through some guided meditation. So thank you, Ryan, so much for joining us, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Well, Shylla, thank you so much for having me on. That was a great introduction. And I guess wherever you're coming from, I'm in the Bay Area. And I guess wherever you're coming from, if you could just go ahead and jot that down in the chat in the comments. We'd love to see where you're at. And just a little bit of information about myself. This is about you. This isn't about me, so I'll keep it brief. As Shylla had mentioned, I did teach abroad. I taught in Seoul, South Korea. I also taught 4th and 6th grade in San Francisco. And you know what I found was, as teachers and as students, we're so busy. We're going from class to class, and we barely have a moment to think or breathe. And the students are learning a lot of different subjects. And for me, what was important was the personal development. I've been a daily meditator for years, and I also have a certificate in mindfulness-based stress reduction. So the mindfulness and meditation are just very important in my own life. And it's something that I wanted to be able to bring to my students as well, just to help with their own internal being and their own inner growth. It's just so important. It's so important for you as a teacher as well. And so we started to meditate almost daily in our class. The students got a lot out of it. And really from there, what transpired was me writing this book. As Shylla had mentioned, it's Wisdom Beyond the Classroom. And it really is a lot about that internal work, about social, emotional, about a growth mindset, about habits, attitude, and really your relationship with failure. There's a lot of different subjects. There's actually 27 chapters in the book. And so that's really what spun from that, because the personal development was so important to me. It's so important for you as a teacher. It's so important for your students. So as Shylla had mentioned, on day 1, we connected with our breathing. And on day 2, we did the body scan. And so here on day 3, which is a chapter that I write about in the book, visualization, I thought that would be something that would be important to you, something that you would be able to use in your own life, adding value to you as an educator, and just in general when you're not wearing your teacher hat. And so the first thing that I think is important is, if we could first connect to our breathing. I think that when we're going about our day, whether we're having a really great day or we're having a stressful day, it's important to connect to our breathing, because it's really it's about taking a break before you need one. And an easy way to do that is just to connect to your breathing. So right now, wherever you're at, if you want to just close your eyes for a minute and take a nice deep breath in and inhale, and a nice exhale, and one more. Take a nice inhale and an exhale. And a comment that, it's actually the name of a book Jon Kabat-Zinn came out with. It's wherever you go, there you are. whether we go on a vacation or whether we stay at home, however we're feeling internally is what we bring with us. So being able to manage our emotions is so important, and a nice way to be present and connect with ourselves is just to come back to that breathing. It's very, very simple. Mm-hmm. Coming back to today, that we're going to speak about the visualization. The interesting thing about visualization is it really is a way to kind of manifest what you want in your own life. And so with visualization, the interesting, I'd say it's a great design or a flaw in the makeup of our brain is that our subconscious mind really cannot tell the difference between something that we've already done and something that we vividly imagine. So you could imagine that if you vividly think about or imagine something, and the more you do it, practice makes perfect, right? Then it's going to come out that way. So I think this is very true if you're an athlete. You imagine yourself stepping up to the plate or throwing the ball or hitting or whatever your sport may be, or whether you're an actor or whether you're just anyone wanting to perform very, very well. I know that Shylla had mentioned I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, but giving a speech, right? It's something that it's so easy to be nervous about. And if we think about giving a speech, oh my gosh, we can crumble. And giving a speech, if we would actually, the reason that it doesn't go so well or we're so nervous about it is because a lot of times our brain thinks of the worst things happening, right? Well, could you imagine if instead you vividly imagined yourself giving the speech with confidence and just having the words flow out and loving the speech and having the time of your life and the audience laughing at your jokes and being on the edge of your seat? If you vividly imagine that over and over, you would be much more comfortable at giving speeches. And in fact, you would probably look forward to the next speech that you had to give. So vividly imagining something, visualization is something that really we can use to our advantage. And so I want to just give you a couple of exercises today that can help you move forward and have the best day as an educator for yourself, as well as for your students, so that you give them your best as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is, I don't know if you're sitting or standing or driving in the car or laying down, but if you are able to stand, don't do it if you're driving in a car, but if you're able to stand, that would be terrific. So what we're going to do is, I'm standing and I have my feet are shoulder width apart. And so the first thing I want you to do is you're going to go ahead and raise your right arm and place your index finger in front of you. So try not to knock that plant over behind you there, Shylla, but we're going to go clockwise to the right. Okay, do this and don't hurt yourself, but see how far you can go turning clockwise. Okay, now what I'd like for you to do is close your eyes. Okay, your eyes are closed, and with your eyes closed, you're going to imagine, you're not going to do it, you're just going to imagine that you pick up your right arm again with your index finger pointed in front of you. And you're going to imagine that you're going to turn again clockwise, but this time it's as if you're a cartoon character and can turn extremely far, perhaps wrapping around your body a few times. Okay, you did that. Go ahead and open your eyes. And now this time, go ahead and put your hand in front of you again, your right arm, with your finger pointed in front of you. And now, when you turn this time, let's see how far you can turn. Okay, did you, in fact, turn farther than you did the first time?
Yes, that's incredible.
Yeah, I'm guessing that you did. I've done this with I've done this with my classes and my baseball teams. I coached baseball as well. And I've seen this actually done on a grand level with thousands of people. And it's amazing. People are blown away by this. I like literally everybody I've ever seen do this is like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? Well, that's just a very small example of visualization, right? You literally just did that in your mind. And so what I'd like for us to do now is we're going to do another just a little exercise in visualization that you're going to then be able to take into the classroom with you. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes again. And your hands should be, you can sit down again if you'd like. We're not going to do anything standing and moving like that again. So whatever you're most comfortable with, you can sit, you can stand. And so with your eyes closed, go ahead and connect with your breathing again. Go ahead and take a nice inhale through your nose and then an exhale out your nose. And then one more where you're nice and relaxed. Now, I would like you to imagine that you're at the beach. You're at the beach. It is an absolutely beautiful day. The sun is shining and it's warm. It feels so good. You can feel it on your face. You can feel it on your body. You can hear the ocean, waves coming in and out. And you practically have the beach to yourself. You can feel the sand on your toes. It feels so good. It's warm and it feels good. And you sit down in your favorite beach chair and you go ahead and take a drink of one of your favorite beverages. You feel it nice and cold to your lips. And as you sit there looking out at the ocean, listening to the ocean, you feel tremendous gratitude for the moment. You feel tremendous joy for the moment. You feel as if everything is right in the world and that you're supposed to be there. That everything is happening for you in the moment. And now with this feeling of joy and gratitude, and you feel love for yourself, you just feel love for life. I want you to imagine that you're able to take these feelings and carry them with you into the classroom. Whether you're teaching your students and you're physically there in the classroom or you're doing distant learning, that you're able to carry these feelings with you. And that you have tremendous joy and gratitude for being a teacher and for being a beacon of light in your students' lives. And that you see the beauty in all of your students. And you know what an incredibly important job you have. And you also feel that whether the day unfolds perfectly or is a complete disaster, you're able to be calm. You're able to be relaxed. You're able to enjoy what you're doing. with kindness, with gratitude, with joy, and with love. Now, slowly, you can go ahead and open your eyes. And what I would like to ask you to do is, this is about visualization and being able to really tap into our subconscious mind, and being able to control our emotions and feel the way we want to feel is so important. And so the more often you vividly imagine something, the more you really create your future reality of how you want something to be. And so what I want to ask you to do, and your subconscious mind is most susceptible when you're in a relaxed state. So that's either when you're just have woken up in the morning or when you're going to go to bed at night. But what I want to ask you to do is to do this in the morning and or in the nighttime. And it doesn't have to be for a tremendous amount of time. It could really just be for a few minutes. But what I'd like you to do when you wake up or in the evening is close your eyes and imagine how you want your day to unfold. Imagine yourself going through the day, where you'll be, the people you'll be with, and imagine yourself just feeling as great as you can feel. Imagine feeling tremendous joy, tremendous gratitude for what you get to do. And the more you do that, the more you're actually going to become that. And so if you need to tap into exercise such as what we just did, or something that makes you feel good, but imagine yourself walking through your day and just having the best time ever, and really being the best version of yourself for yourself as well as for your students. So that's your call to action, what I'd like you to do. The more you do it, right? Practice makes perfect, the better you'll get at it. And I think that you'll find that if you can wake up in the morning and really do that in the morning, it will make a difference. It really will. So that is all that I have for you today. Again, as we mentioned, I did write Wisdom Beyond the Classroom. It's available as a paperback, as an ebook. I also read it on Audible, and it can all be found through my website, wisdombeyondtheclassroom.com. I like the paperback version because there are 2 questions at the end of every chapter, which I read something and I kind of forget, or I have to go back and reread or take notes. So these kind of prompt the big topics that happened in the chapter. So I thank you for your time, Shylla. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for being our special guest. And I personally love visualization. Actually, there was one point I would, if I didn't have time, if I didn't want to take even, I should say, a few seconds to do the visualization, what I would do when I was getting ready in the morning, I would set my intention. And then as I was getting ready, without having to close my eyes, I would visualize how I wanted the day to go.
Yeah.
So if you are running short on time, I highly recommend just doing that. Ryan, are you aware of the study of the basketball team, the college basketball team, where they took half of the team, and I can find which team it was, but they took half the team and had them visualize making a free throw shot, and then half the team actually practiced. And the team that, or the group members that only visualized it, when it came down to the actual test, they did just as well as the other one that have been practicing for the season.
That's amazing. There's a lot of studies that have gone in various ways of like building your muscles or playing the piano or shooting free throws. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you so much for bringing that tonight. I really appreciate you spending some time with us this evening. And everyone out here watching, whether you're watching now live or the replay, make sure that you indicate that you are with us live or the replay, just for interaction purposes. If you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to either put them in the chat feed